good evening, or as you like to call it in America, vacation. What is that? What is vacation? He's on holiday.
Yeah.
He's not on vacation. He's on holiday. So I'm sitting in again. I'm gonna wreck Lee's show just like I wrecked Tim's show on Monday. With me to my left, your right, I have AJ from New Zealand.
How are we?
Good, good. Below AJ, we've got Wally.
Hey.
And to Wally's right, we have David from Boston.
Good evening, everyone, or another time zone, regardless of where you are.
I know, it's crazy, isn't it? And in the chat, another time zone, we've got Neil from Down Under, and he's got 9:35 in the morning in South Australia. It's madness, isn't it?
What time is it in New Zealand, AJ?
It's just gone 12:06, so we're bang on time as well.
Oh, good. 12:06 in the afternoon, then.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. AJ's got noon, I've got the middle of the night, and you guys have got the evening.
Yeah. We're prime time here on the East Coast of the US.
Man,
yeah.
it's crazy.
You've got the rough end of the stick, Steve.
Yeah, Steve, you're.
Yeah. I've just done a 10-hour shift at work as well on the mean streets of London.
Wow.
So, I come here to unwind and relax because I got home. I was so tense tonight. It was madness out there tonight.
Was it?
I'm glad I'm not working the weekend.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh, we've got Kieran and Ray in the chat as well. Hi, guys.
Oh, hey, guys.
Already winding Ray up. Well, fingers crossed I can keep winding him up. I'm still disappointed in how much of a train wreck yesterday's show was, Ray. You were an absolute one of the worst hosts I've ever had. Let's work together again because I absolutely loved it.
Don't rise to it, Ray. He's joking. It was a good show. I watched it.
It was a boatload of fun.
Should we get on with our show?
Let's do it.
As I said, I was driving my bus tonight. Did a long shift, and I was given this host to do at the last minute, so I didn't have a chance to get anything organized. So my secretary Tim did it for me. So question number one, let's go. AJ,
hello.
Of the three teams promoted, who's the most Premier League ready and who's most likely to go straight down?
I'd say Fulham are the most Premier League ready, considering they came up at the first time of asking. I thought they actually did really well in that playoff final, and it did show that, Scotty Parker's done really well down in the Championship next season. So I think they're definitely ready for the Premier League. I also think Leeds are in there with a good shout as well. But the one team that I am kind of a little bit apprehensive about is West Brom. We know what sort of a boss Slaven Bilic is, and I think, he's done really, really well over there at West Brom, but is that West Bromwich Albion side really Premier League ready compared to the likes of Fulham and Leeds? I don't think so, and I don't even think any of them are going to go down. That's where I'm kind of that's my whole thinking of it all at the moment.
Boy.
So
well, if all three of them stay up, that doesn't look good for us, does it?
Yeah.
David, what do you think?
I actually rate Leeds slightly ahead of Fulham, just based on the fact that I really rate their manager, Marcelo Bielsa. I think he's kind of like a top 20 manager in the world. He's got a good tactical mind. I think he's got a philosophy in place. I also think the players that Fulham have going for them, they're a good group as well. And I really rate Scott Parker as a manager as well, except last time they spent a lot of money. I believe it was close to $90 million or $100 million on transfer fees when they came up, and it didn't seem to gel altogether well. I think they'll do better than the last time and survive, but I think Leeds will outdo them. I totally agree with AJ that I think West Brom are the least Premier League ready. I also think that, as we know, Slaven Bilic, he's a very good motivator, getting players behind him. But if he loses one or two players in that locker room, as they say in the United States, then things tend to go to south. And I can see if they run into a rough patch, him not being able to weather that. So I would definitely have West Brom as the lowest performing out of the 3 teams who have just coming up. Although I'm really looking forward to when we play West Brom.
Wally, consensus?
Yeah, I have to agree on Leeds. Certainly, they have a great manager, and they won the championship. So I think and they've been working on it for a few years now. They've been, they were so close last year, and now this year they really pretty much, dominated the championship. So I see them doing really well. And also, I watched the final yesterday, and I must say, Fulham looked really well organized. And you know what? They weren't even playing their main front guys. They had Mitrovic on the bench. Knockaert came off the bench, and so the Kamara and a couple other guys they had up front were doing a great job. So they could be something as well. And West Brom, I have to say, I agree. They're probably the weakest one. And Bilic doesn't have a Payet this time. He doesn't have Allardyce's organized defense, and I think he's going to lose Diangana, right? So probably Diangana will come back to us. So yeah, I think it's going to be tough, and I bet they go back down.
I was just about to say another thing that West Brom are going to struggle with is the fact that they're not going to have Grady Diangana next season. Hopefully, he's embedded with us and back in the team, but he's not going to have Diangana. I don't think they're going to do overly well without him next season.
So there seems to be a concern for West Brom. Are they going to make any sort of impact, or do you think they're going to do a Norwich?
I think that's too early to tell. I think we don't know what transfers they're going to make. We don't know who they're going to lose. We don't know who they're going to add. Norwich were clearly they didn't add many players. They said we finished top of the championship. We're just going to run with it. It kind of counterintuitively paid off that now they've been relegated, but they didn't spend a lot of money while they were in the Premier League. So then they still get the parachute payment and they can try to do it again. But I don't think we know till we know what West Brom's transfer strategy is and how it plays out.
Yeah, I don't think I've got much to add, actually. I'll only be repeating what you 3 have just said. Leeds have had a long run at it, and they do seem quite assured and quite steady with what they're doing. And Fulham, they I don't think they'll make the mistakes they made last time. And Scotty Parker is, like, love him or hate him, he seems to be doing a job of some sort over there, doesn't he? So yeah, I think I worry a little for Slav and West Brom as well. Of the teams that have gone down now, is there anybody that you would take? Who, if you was David Moyes, would you be sniffing round any of the relegated teams for any of their players? David, any thoughts on that?
I would say for Watford, I would take Doucouré, even though we've addressed our midfield problems pretty well. I forget how you pronounce his name. Is it Sarri or Sar? I apologize if I've mispronounced that. He looks a little raw, but he looks worthy of having him. But maybe he doesn't fit into the West Ham United system. I can see like another team scooping him up. I could maybe see like him fitting in better with an Arsenal. For Norwich, there's no one who like jumps off at the page for me. And then for Bournemouth, maybe Ryan Fraser, just because he's on a free. So, and we know the owners like free transfers, or they like a big name conversely.
Yeah.
Also Callum Wilson, but I'm really torn about that transfer. I do not like him personally. I really do not like that incident where he scored it with his hand to tie it with us 3-3 when we had come back 2-0 in the rain, and the manner in which he acted after that. Also, they say 10 million transfer fee. I like that transfer fee. That's cheap for a proven striker. But recently, he's been pretty injury prone, and we all know about West Ham and injury prone players, let alone strikers. I just think we have to move on from older, injury-prone players. So that's the deal breaker for me, and I would give a no to Callum Wilson.
What about Brentford? Is there anybody there, seeing as they didn't make it, and that they may need to be unloading? Maybe Watkins or what was the other guy?
Ben Rahama. Yeah, I would take
yeah.
Watkins. I think he's got really good movement. He just knows how to move around in the box. He makes strong runs. He's a decent finisher. I liked what I saw of him I watched the championship final. He never was able to connect, but he was there on a lot of balls to him. Ben Rahama didn't look so good, although what the scouts say is he's very good with free kicks. He's very good on the wing. I am a little I look at West Ham, and we just have a lot of attacking midfielders and wing players, assuming we keep Diangana, and it still seems we're missing strikers. So, and it seems like a pattern for ever since the Bilic era. We always seem to have attacking midfielders and wingers galore, and then we never really have more than one good striker. And sometimes we even convert a striker like Arnautovic a winger like Arnautovic or Antonio to a striker because we're so barren. I would really like to see us solidify that striker position in terms of depth.
Yeah, I understand. Wally, what do you think?
Well, as far as Norwich, I liked Cantwell looks good, but he wasn't playing really towards the end there, and I don't know if they were trying to save him to sell him, or he just wasn't getting a whole lot. Him and Pukki weren't even getting a whole lot of playing time, so I'm assuming they were just kind of holding him so he wouldn't get injured because they'd already been pretty much relegated. But I think it was Charlie Boy had a great shot. Max Aarons I think he's one of their backs. He looked quality. So that would be interesting. We definitely need a left back, I think, or two. And now from Watford, I really like Deulofeu.
Yes,
he's got pace. Yeah, I think he's really good. And then Bournemouth. Yeah, I mean, those strikers are kind of questionable. Wilson, yeah. But Ake, but I think he's really expensive, right? I think they're talking like
he's already signed for City.
Oh, he has. Okay.
Yeah, he went for a wedge as well, didn't he?
Yeah, it was a 42 million.
Okay. Yeah, maybe then Ryan Fraser. Nobody's really coming out at me from Bournemouth. So that's what I think.
Who grabs your fancy, AJ? Anybody?
Well, again, Wally he pinched my shout because I was going to go in for Deulofeu. I've always thought of Deulofeu as the one that got away because we were quite heavily linked with him a couple of seasons back, and then of course he went to Watford. But I've always enjoyed watching him play. I think he's absolutely fantastic on the ball. Cantwell, yes, I'd gladly pinch him. The shout for Max Aarons, though, is absolutely spot on. I'd happily take him. I saw a comment for Stanislas as well. I'm not really sold on him. I know that he's an ex-West Ham lad, but I'm not sold on him at all. No. I would go in for Ollie Watkins at Brentford, and this Eze guy from, I think it's QPR or something. He looks all right as well.
I would go for Eze.
Yeah, so if we really needed to go for those those attacking options, but again, I'll say it again, as I said yesterday, our main priority should be those fullback positions because
I agree.
We've got. I'm sorry, I don't trust Masuaku at left back. I don't trust Creswell, and I do not trust Fredericks. As much as I love them, I don't trust them, and Ben Johnson can only do so much.
Well, I have to say, yesterday I watched the Brentford left back Henry, and he looked great. Yeah, he looked great. Yeah. He controlled Cabano pretty well, and he had super pace, almost as fast as Fredericks, I would think.
I like the idea of getting the left back from Wigan.
Robinson.
He's cut price now. He's £1.5 million. Him on the left and Ben Johnson on the right, and then just get a couple of backups or keep Cresswell. But the thing that I really would like to see is the end of bloody Ryan Fredericks. He's not a Premiership player.
Oh, come on.
He is not a Premiership player. He seriously.
I know. I totally agree, Steve. But it brings up this strange issue that I was just reading up on the Knees Up Mother Brown forums. Is you have players like Bowen. They come up from the Championship and they fit in right away. Yeah. But Fredericks, I think he was like one of the fullbacks of the year. Like he was rated as the player of the year in his position in the Championship. Some players don't make the jump. You know what I mean? So I think we don't need him anymore, or Fredericks, but maybe we need someone to give him competition. But it's not guaranteed that who we bring up from the Championship will be good enough. So it's complicated to me.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? I understand. I think my dislike of Fredericks comes from going to the bloody London Stadium week in, week out, and where my seat is, it's right on the corner. Mm-hmm. So for half of the game, he's right there in front of us, and we see every bloody mistake and error and miss pass, and he just
missed cross.
Yeah.
He's out of position very frequently. He runs forward and then doesn't get back to the right position. He's got 3 clear flaws.
Okay, listen. He was the penultimate player to have a 10 out of 10 match for West Ham. So up until Antonio did the other day when he scored 4 goals, he was the last player to have a 10 out of 10 rating. He's also higher rated than any of the other defensive line on the West Ham team. So
do you mean like in terms of like a WhoScored.com, like ratings?
Yes, rating off of WhoScored. Yes. Yeah,
I don't know. That's one of the things where like I'm agreeing with Steve. Like I actually like data analytics. I like analyzing players, but the seeing eye test just doesn't do it for me with him. Like his crosses, like is his percentage of his crosses, are they really rating that those are going well? I see bad passes. I see him being a little herky-jerky when he's passing, even though he's very athletic and gets forward well. He doesn't pass the seeing eye test for me. I guess maybe that's non-scientific or something, but he just doesn't do it for me.
You know what they say about statistics, don't you?
That is my favorite stat. The last, when he had that 10 out of 10 match. Granted, it was over a year ago, but still, I treasure that. And Rebecca has suggested I get that date tattooed on my arm when Fredericks had that 10 out of 10 match. But anyway, he just assisted on a goal the other day. So he's not as bad as you guys think. He doesn't get enough love. So anyway, I'm doing my best.
At left back, he's just absolutely annoying to watch. You play him as a right winger or a right wing back, and you put Arthur Masuaku out on a left wing back position. Have both of those two players as wing backs. I don't see any problem there. I hate seeing him in that back four as a right back. He's a right wing back for me.
Yeah, I can see that.
Well, I will stand corrected, and I will shush now.
Well, I have to admit that I only can see the matches on TV, so I agree. If you're actually at the game, you can see way more of what's going on. So
you get a completely different view of things because you see a lot of stuff, obviously, that the broadcasters don't show off the ball because they're not going to show it because it's not interesting.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So. Well, before Charlie actually comes round to my house and kicks my door down and drags me out by the throat, I think we should move on. And let's ask a question that we'll wind Charlie up just a little bit more, shall we?
Please.
I'm not quite sure what this means here, but it's one of the questions that Tim has set for me to ask you all. So seeing as we're winding up, Charlie, and Wally seems to be the instigator. See if you can work out what Tim means with this. Will we ever get justice for Hugh Gill? Just oh, see, now AJ's laughing. What does it mean? Justice for what?
So Charlie has had this campaign all of last season. Hashtag recall Big George.
Recall Big George. Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah. So essentially, it's giving Hugel that opportunity to walk out with those bubbles
Exactly.
and well and truly say, "Come on, you iron." So hashtag recall Big George.
That's
I
his
understand
dream.
that. I wondered what the justice was. I thought perhaps he'd done something wrong, or
no. All it is getting him his game time in the Premier League.
Basically, I think he had a quote where he said, "I just want to, come out to bubbles," and he's never started a match.
I remember that.
Yeah, he's never started a match, so he's never been able to have that experience of coming out to the bubbles.
So justice for Hugh Gill will be that. I understand now. Yeah.
Well, everyone's talking about beanies in the chat. So I had quite a dilemma this morning. I've got this bright yellow wig that I was contemplating wearing, but seeing as everyone's talking about Wally's hat, I'm going to do this.
Yes.
Yes.
Give me my Russian vodka. There we go.
I was wearing this in honor of you, AJ, because I know it's winter now in New Zealand. Even though it's stinking hot here and we just had a hurricane go right over our house, the eye of the hurricane, well, it was a tropical storm when it hit us, but it came right over basically our house. So I am wearing a hat in your honor. So, AJ.
Did you get any of that storm, Dave?
Just for a very brief amount of time. There was like 45 minutes of heavy rain, then some wind before and after. But it wasn't anything drastic. It really didn't change anything anyone did. Thanks for asking, though.
Cool. What is the weather like down there, AJ?
Well,
it's winter,
blue
right?
sky and
it's snowing.
No, it's not snowing where I am. I've got blue skies and sunshine. It's actually quite warm, so it's not too bad. But there are other parts of the country where it's not doing too good. We do have some nasty weather coming in, so yeah, could be fun. But yeah, it's quite warm today. The shirt's justified.
It's stinking hot and humid here in London. I think we're going to get up to 100 degrees this weekend. So,
yikes.
Yeah, it's going to be all sticky, and what we say is it's going to be rather Spurs fans. It's going to be muggy.
Yeah, we have beautiful weather right now because after like a tropical storm or hurricane goes through, the weather following it is just beautiful. Clear blue skies, crisp, not super hot. So it's nice.
Cool. Right, let's get back to these questions for Tim, shall we?
Oh.
This has been a really wanky season, hasn't it? With the COVID break and everything that went before. And I think one of the biggest things that made it so was VAR. Wally, give us your thoughts on VAR.
Well, I thought it was going to be really great for us because so many decisions, last season, if you looked at the decision table, I think we were at the top of getting screwed over by the decisions. So I thought for sure this was going to equalize for us and we were going to do better from it. But I don't know. It seems like with these offside decisions, they start making those grids, when it's close and they want to overrule something that is to our benefit, then it gets overruled. But when if it's one of the big sides, once again, it's like they don't bring out the grid and, they just let it go and give the big sides the benefit of the doubt. So I've been disappointed, to be honest with you. and I thought they did it quite well in the World Cup. You know, I thought it worked reasonably well in the World Cup, but for some reason in the Premier League they just made a hash of it. So yeah, I'm disappointed. In other words,
I saw a conspiracy theory. It may have even been in one of our messenger chats. That perhaps we were deliberately making a hash of the VAR so that the authorities got rid of it.
Maybe
because we really don't like it in the Premier League. What do you reckon, AJ?
See, I could easily burst out singing "fuck VAR" because I think we've well and truly been robbed this season. But you know, there have been pros and there have been cons to having it. More cons, I will admit, but one of the pros is it does keep a lot of those serial offenders, you know, well and truly in line with everything else. I absolutely hate how it's an absolute minimal thing that's being picked up, and the finest of finest detail distances. I don't understand that. If it's not clear, if it's not obvious, if it's inconclusive, just let it be. I do not like VAR in the Premier League this season, and I'll agree with Kieran. It has spoiled the season for me this season, as well as the COVID situation.
Has VAR spoiled your season, Dave?
Not the West Ham season in particular. I actually think it's been some pros and some cons with the way it's been carried out for West Ham. I'm agreeing with Neil from Down Under that it's just the application of it. I've watched a lot of Bundesliga before Premier League was on. They applied it perfectly. It all seemed reasonable. It took a reasonable amount of time, and I was like, oh, it's working. But with the Premier League, that's just they've been very inconsistent. They don't give a reasoning behind it. They just say overturned. I think it would help if they gave some reasoning. They played a replay on the screen. I think another thing that's really affected it is this if the ball touches the hand at all, leading into an attacking play, regardless of it's intentional, then it's the goal is disallowed. That disallowed the Snodgrass goal against Sheffield United. That was hugely frustrating. But then it's the application. It happens in other matches. It happened in a Liverpool match, and they didn't call it. It's the uneven application that drives me crazy. So if they can apply it evenly, I'm all for it. But I think the initial rollout was terrible. I think there was too many games that were affected by it negatively that if you watch the replay, you wouldn't have agreed with the decision. And I also think a lot of the review took too long. I think they need to lessen the amount of time they take to review.
The one thing that I don't like is it brings in a factor that we have here. We've had this for years in American football where, you know, somebody scores.
Hello.
Yeah, somebody scores.
This is VAR calling.
Oh, what?
This is VAR calling. I have to overturn that.
Go away. What the hell was that? Oh dear.
Well, anyway,
oh, boy.
Tim would appreciate this. In American football, if somebody scores a touchdown, you know, we don't immediately celebrate because we got to look on the field and see if there's a flag, a penalty flag or something.
Yeah.
And now,
that's right.
Now, this past season, it's been the same thing. You got to wait an instant. You don't want to, several times people have celebrated and then it's been, the goal's been ruled out. So that kind of just killed the joy for me.
Yeah. And I agree. When a goal's scored and the first thing everybody does now is looks at the referee to see if he's gone to his ear.
Yeah.
And do you celebrate? Don't you celebrate? And the thing that I remember from the World Cup that worked really well with VAR, which we don't seem to have instigated at all in the Premier League. I think I've only ever seen it happen like twice or three times maybe, is the referee actually going over to his screen that he's got under the hood. In the World Cup, the referee got a shout in his ear. He went to the edge side of the pitch. He looked at the screen, maybe called in his assistant. They had a look at it. They made a decision. Bang, onto the field and let everybody know what the decision was. But it seems to be with us that they're relying on the VAR.
Yeah, the actual booth
to
tell you
make the decision for them, rather than them just saying, "Take a look."
You've just got to look at Suchek in that game. I think it was against Chelsea as well. You know, he scored that goal and it was disallowed. Then he scored again, and you know he looked towards the ref to see whether or not it was going to be allowed before he celebrated that. You know, I think that was it's annoying. It is, the application's very uneven. It's very inconsistent. You're seeing a lot of big clubs getting away with blue murder at this point, and it's just, I don't think it's right.
No. If they can tweak it, I think the trouble is they need to amend maybe the offside rule, amend this stupid bloody handball rule, and then maybe tweak the VAR, because I think that those two, you know, the offside rule and the handball rule, have added to the problems that we were getting with the VAR, and I think if they can deal with them as well. Yeah, Kieran said change the handball rule as well. That was madness. And the other thing as well that I have noticed, because I watch a little bit of NFL, not as much as I used to, because my team was the Chargers, and I used to love the San Diego.
Yeah, that's a painful move.
Now I really don't like the LA Chargers, but I've got to stick with them. I've got a Dirty Great Chargers tattoo on my back.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Yeah. I
Well
know.
done.
What a lemon. I know, right? But it seems to be, when you watch NFL, it seems to be that all the refs are all consistent, and they all make the rules as per the book, and there's no argument. I think the problem with English football is that there's too much sort of interpretation of the rules, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. I have two minds about it, in the sense that what's really interesting about the NFL referees is the refereeing is their second job. So they actually have jobs outside refereeing.
Right.
So they're really kind of impartial and have to be held up to a high standard in order for them to keep that job.
Right.
Well, I think there's some English referees, such as Mike Dean, who it's very personality based, and it's about their reputation, and that maybe they want to draw attention to themselves, I think, or can be swayed by the moment. I will say that the Premier League is very fast-paced. It's probably the fastest-paced league in the world. So sometimes it's actually hard to catch something with your naked eye. So I understand why they make mistakes when it's live, but it's up to them then to really utilize the VAR to help them and not hinder them. And I don't believe they've been doing a consistent enough job with that.
It seems like a mind greater than mine has disagreed about the NFL consistency.
Well, I can see what Chris is saying, because a lot of the pass interference calls are very that's really judgmental up to the referees, you know, whether it's actually pass interference or not. And they're making like a split-second decision on that. So that does lead to a lot of controversies, particularly if they're calling back like a big long pass that scores a touchdown or something, and you know, there's interference, or they're, you know, the guy drops the pass because somebody tackled him a second too early, and you know, that can lead to some controversy. But I think in general they make a lot of the calls right. But they're making so many calls, it you know, it kind of drags the game down. But that's a whole different thing.
Yeah, that pass interference is a real Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
AJ, do you watch NFL?
No.
No.
No, I'm not a fan of it. I'm more into my motorsport as well as football. So, you know, the likes of Formula One, the Virgin Australia Supercars, Formula E to a point as well. I enjoy that. IndyCar. I'll watch a NASCAR race every once in a while, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Just football and motorsport.
Right. So your opinion is only about the VAR in the Premier League then?
Yeah. Yep.
Right. There's still a couple of questions to go through. Should we go through them, or should we hit the chat, see if there's anything in there to?
Wow, you're the boss,
any questions in the chat? I did see something just now that I wanted to bring up. If I can just find it again. Here we go. Wally.
Oh, okay. If you really want to know what this is basically a gin and tonic, but it also has extra tonic syrup in it. So it's very tonic-y. Plus, it has elderberry extract to give it that extra little bit of, healthful benefits. You know, this stuff actually wards off the COVID. So
it's healthy drinking.
Yeah, it's very healthy.
So everybody in the chat speculating on different types of cognacs and champagnes and things are way off.
They're way off.
What do they know?
It's just gin and tonic. It is Hendrick's gin, though, which I guess is pretty good. You know how posh I am? I lived in Mayfair for 4 months in 1970. So when I was a kid, that's how posh I am.
Mayfair, London.
Yes, Mayfair, London. And after that, we moved to Hampstead.
Mountains.
So, and then we went to Coventry, and it was all downhill. But anyway.
Oh yeah. That's a world away, isn't it, Coventry?
Yeah. There you go.
Yes, Rebecca. Yes, you might do, but you still didn't know what Wally was drinking, did you?
Talk about going fishing. More like shooting fish in a barrel.
Yeah. Okay, so Yarmolenko, what do we do with him? Thoughts?
I don't know if we use him as squad player, to bring off the bench. He seems to be good coming off the bench. He scores with a high percentage of his shots. He's got a good left foot. Excuse me. But he's on a very high wage, $125,000. I don't know if we can get another team to take him, so we might just be stuck with him.
He's a very expensive bench player, isn't he?
Yeah, I don't think he fits in with David Moyes' starting XI, but I do appreciate him as a bench player. But
as a starter, I think he's technically brilliant, but he's got no speed.
Yeah, and he's not a good link-up player. He's not someone who can link up the offense in the midfield. He needs to be given it to, and then he'll run a long way and create something. He doesn't. Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's a difficult one because I really like him.
Yeah.
And I rate him as a footballer, and I like him as a person. Not that I've ever met him, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Me and him down the pub on a Saturday afternoon. Yeah, no. But he comes across. So I don't know. That situation, I've got to be honest, is one that I wouldn't like to be a manager and have to make a decision like that. I mean, a lot of decisions that you see are easy, like, he's coming to the end of his time, get rid of him, or, he's slow, get rid of him, or Lanzini, he's just lost his magic dust, get rid of him. But I don't know. What do we do with Yarma? AJ, what do we do with him?
See, I quite like him. as a player, and as David said, as a starter, brilliant footballer. Don't get me wrong, but he's got no speed. I think to get the most out of him, we need to start using him as that impact sub, like we did with Chicharito when he was at the club, because I think having him as that impact player, as we've seen in the latter stages of this season, he was coming off the bench and just scoring goals for fun. Granted, nowhere near Antonio's level. I don't think he could ever be beaten with the success he's had this, since restart. But he's done really well picking up the important goals. I think he went and scored 2 or 3 goals before getting a start, and it was just as a sub. So I think he's good for that impact sub, that super sub player.
Does he have age on his side though?
I don't believe he does. I want to say he's around
Pretty old.
I want to say he's around like 31 years old.
Yeah, I thought he was about the same age as Cresswell, isn't he?
Andre Yarmolenko. I've got Google up now, so I'll just do some research. He's 30.
He's 30 years. Yeah, he's 30 years old.
Right. What do you reckon then, Wally?
Well, I
Sell
think
or keep?
if we can sell him, maybe we should sell him. I agree with you. He's a great player. But now that we have Bowen in playing on the right most of the time, and I can see Bowen starting, that's pretty much Yarmolenko's position. And I hate to see him coming off the bench for, I think he's our highest paid player.
He's on our highest wages.
Yeah. So I hate to see that. So one thing I'm thinking is we're short on strikers. If we get rid of Ayeti and Antonio, I don't know if he's going to be a striker again, but maybe we try, Yarmolenko in the middle. I think he plays that for the Ukraine national team. So maybe that's worth a shot if Haller's not available or Antonio's injured, which he may be quite frequently. I would maybe start him in the middle, see how he does. So.
Yeah, I concur. I think I'd be tempted to keep him for one more season. I have similar feelings for Anderson as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'd like to keep him for one more season.
Yeah, I love watching him. He's great.
Yeah.
Controversial opinion. I'd actually sell Lanzini and keep
so would
Anderson.
Oh, that's not controversial. That's one of the first.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
If I was a director at West Ham United,
I would absolutely
get rid of Lanzini. Maybe sign Eze. He can play on the center or the left, and maybe play Eze a little to the left, and have Fornals and Anderson compete more in that central role. That's what I would do.
Yeah, I agree.
Because also he's not left-footed. He's right-footed. So moving him to the center, I think would help Felipe Anderson a lot with his game. And I like the way he looked in that first Wolves match, even though we didn't play very well. I thought he played well in that center attack midfield role in that first game against Wolves. So
I actually think if we have a better left back, I think that'll help him out, because I think the statistics have shown that he's doing a lot of work on defense, making up for Cresswell's deficiencies. So I think if we have a quality left back there, we may see a better Anderson. And the other thing about Anderson is I was convinced that how last year he actually had a really good year, but Arnautovic would always be yelling at him and gesticulating, he didn't put in the perfect pass or whatever. And I thought that was going to be holding him back. And this year he would be so much better, not having that. But now I've changed my mind. I think he actually needs that. I think he needs somebody busting his ass.
He needs a good partner on his wing. I couldn't agree more, Wally.
Yeah, he needs somebody, getting the best out of him like that. So I don't think that's Haller, but and I don't see Antonio doing that. But so I don't know. But I really like him. I would like to see, hopefully with a better left back, maybe he'll be back to his good efforts.
So if just say, for example, David Moyes is listening in now and he says, "Oh, you've got some good ideas there, fellas." Would he have to go and get Eze to put on the left, or could he use Diangana as our starting left winger?
Is Diangana natural left winger? I forget. Does he play on the right or
Yeah.
the left usually?
No,
He plays
left.
on the
He's left winger, isn't he? Yeah.
Oh, he's left.
Oh, okay, then I think it would all boil down to money. I would say, could we sell Diangana to West Brom for enough money that we'd gain a profit over signing Eze? I would also say, Diangana's been in the Championship. He's looked very good there, but has he matured enough to where he could cover the left? I don't know. I haven't watched enough of both players consistently.
Before he went on loan, I actually liked him.
Mm.
I thought he would have just settled into the team, and I was a little surprised when he did get sent out. And he's been just tearing it up, hasn't he, over there in the Championship?
So
So if hypothetically we've got Diangana on the left, Bowen on the right, either Anderson or Fornell sitting in the hole,
Yeah.
who you have up top? You're going to have Haller up top on his own, or
Maybe Antonio. Yeah.
Or Yarmolenko. Try Yarmolenko up.
Yarmolenko?
I'm telling you, we've just got too many attacking midfielders and attacking players. But that's kind of how Moyes likes to play. I think sounds like we're kind of entrenched in that. There's no other way. You maybe just need that other striker as in case.
So if we're saying that now, everything we spoke about half an hour ago with the players that we were thinking, well, maybe we could sign him from teams that have gone down and Championship players that didn't make it. Maybe we don't need any of them. When you look at what we do have, all we need to buy is defenders.
Yeah, I agree with you, Steve. I think probably we need to buy fullbacks and a backup center back. That should be our priority. And then just add one striker and go tit for tat. If one attacking midfielder leaves, replace them. If one wide attacking player, if one winger leaves, replace them. But to me, our priority should be on fullbacks and a backup center back. And the rest will play itself out. But
I think
honestly, we don't know. Are we going to sell Anderson? Are we going to sell Yarmolenko? Are we going to find a buyer for Lanzini? How much are we going to get for them? And the owners have said we need to sell to buy. So if they are telling the truth, isn't everything on hold till they actually sell someone? I do suspect they may be saying that to set the bar low because they do know that we're only going to buy 2 or 3 players. So they're tempering the supporters' expectations. However, if that is true, we don't really know what we can do till we sell some players.
Exactly. And isn't that what's great about the off season, as you lot call it, that we can just sit here and speculate and hypothesize and play about with it. It's great fun, isn't it? I love it.
No, yeah, it's I like a lot too. I like just thinking about transfers that can happen. I like the tension. I like when the transfers actually do happen. I do actually like revisiting transfers we could have made, and like if we had gotten Leandro Dendoncker, he's doing so good for Wolves. Like we lowballed him. Like if we could have gotten him, look at what a different size would be. Doing things like that. I enjoy that as well.
Did you see did anybody see the AHTV and Friends Monday night?
Absolutely, you were a star. Yeah.
Well, no, I wasn't the star, Wally. I'm telling you, young Chris. He does the transfer show with Irish Tommy now, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm.
And he was saying that he's got a list of players that West Ham have been linked with. As of Monday, that was 27 players.
Oh, do you mean just in this window already?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That happens every year.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous, isn't it? Mm-hmm. And what I like as well at the moment is there's all this speculation, there's all these rumours, but there doesn't appear to be anything being leaked at the moment. like there seems to be in the past. So maybe we could be in for a surprise or two over the next few weeks. What do you reckon, AJ? Do you reckon we'll be in for a surprise or no?
Well, I think we do need to sell players before we can buy. I don't know. Being a West Ham fan, I'm kind of at the point where nothing really surprises me anymore when it comes to the club. You know, we've over the years we've been getting our hopes up over some pretty incredible things, and it's just never happened. So at this point, nothing really surprises me with the club. I would like to see us get some players in this window, mainly fullbacks, and I'll keep saying it till I'm blue in the face, but you know, I think we do need to get those fullbacks in.
Yeah.
But it's just a case of when, not if.
Yeah, I agree. Emma in the chat asked an interesting question. Look at this one, fellas. If you were to play two strikers and want to keep fluidity of Rice or Souček coming into attack and want to keep four at the back, what formation do you play? Yeah, well, that's what I did, Wally.
I know. Yeah, we have.
That's got to be
Yeah.
that's 4-4-2 or
Yeah,
dare I say 2-4.
that doesn't leave much room for a lot of our good wingers and such like Fornals,
No.
Anderson,
No.
Bowen. But it says one thing: we keep Noble out of the squad because he doesn't need to be in that position if we have two strikers. So yeah, we could put in like a Diangana and Bowen or an Anderson.
Yeah. I'm not sure I'm sold on two strikers anyway. I like the 4-2-3-1 that he's been playing lately.
I just think Allaire, who's our supposed to be our main striker, is not really suited to being out by himself as a striker.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
but if you move Fornals over into the middle, he did it before, didn't he? Where he can get close to him.
Mm-hmm.
But then where do you play Antonio on the left wing and Bowen on the right wing, or Antonio's the second striker? That's the problem.
I know it's a conundrum, isn't it?
It's a conundrum that I think we have a system we work with, and we have some good center attack midfield players and a lot of good wingers potentially. And then how do you link that one striker in with them, unless it's an Antonio type or an Arnautovic type who makes the right run off their creativity and runs on at the right moment and scores. That's tough. Also, Antonio is so injury prone. He was not injury prone after the break, but I don't think he's ever played a full season, Michail Antonio. No. So I don't think we can rely on him as the lone striker. So I'm very curious what we're going to do. Are we going to move Antonio to a role on the wing? Are we going to pair him with Allaire? Are we going to move him in and out and sign a second striker? I think there's actually a lot to dissect, and there's a lot that's in the air, even though we have a set group of players who played very well after the break. So we'll see. I don't know what the answer is.
I like whichever formation you're going to use. I like the idea of having an attacking four who can all interchange with each other.
Agreed.
And we did see a little bit of it at the beginning of this season, where the wingers would be swapping over, and then the centre forward and the winger would swap, and then the number 10 would be forward, and they were all swapping about like that throughout the game. And I thought that was fantastic because defenders didn't have a clue what was going on.
Anyone else see how good Noble was playing in that number 10 role towards the end of the season when he was tucked in behind Antonio? I thought that was an ingenious move by Moyes, and it worked out really well as well because, again, it kind of stunned everyone else seeing Noble up so high on the pitch.
It was to me it was a novelty, but as good as feet he's got, he hasn't got the engine anymore, has he?
No,
and I think you need someone. I think you need someone with a younger engine to play
going forward. Yeah, I'd rather have those four attack players just being creative and showing movement, which opens up with Soucek. That's why I think Soucek was just such a good signing, because with Rice and Soucek, we add some steel to the midfield, and then those four creative players in front of them have more freedom. And we had that when we played a high line under Pellegrini, but then with the injury to Fabianski, the whole thing just messed up, and we couldn't keep a high line without allowing the other team to score. So,
right, time's starting to run out, so let's just go for quick, very short, 1 or 2 word answers to this one. AJ, go.
Keep Haller.
Wally?
Ooh, I liked Watkins. I'd take him over Haller.
David?
I'm going with Watkins too. I like what I've seen with him. I think even if we don't play him in a 2-striker position, he's young. He'll provide a return on investment. And I think he could challenge Haller if we hold on to Haller over time. So I would go with Watkins.
I think Watkins suits our single striker better than Haller does.
Yeah, that too.
I'm with AJ. I think I'd keep Haller, to be honest. But, yeah. Let's see. Yeah. Quite a few people have said keep Haller, but they like Watkins.
Yeah. See, I quite like the idea of us still going in for Ollie Watkins, but you have him as a support striker for Sebastian Haller. Go back to a 4-4-2. Have Rice and Noble, Rice and Soucek, in the midfield. But you have Haller up top and Watkins just off to the side, or
right,
as that second striker. I like that idea. I think the 4-4-2 is a good formation for us. Kieran made a comment before. I still worry Moyes will go to 3 at the back. I don't think he will, because that opens us up defensively to be carved up. But in saying that, if push comes to shove and we do have to play with 3 at the back, we do have those 2 wing backs that we would be calling on as well. So, yeah, just me voicing my own thoughts for a couple of seconds. So,
Right. What about this one? Obviously, this Montiel, he's at River Plate, isn't he?
Yeah, he's at River Plate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know absolutely nothing about him. I only know his name because I've seen it on Twitter. And also that Wagui, same thing. I only know him through Twitter, so I can't really make a choice there.
For me, it comes down between Matty Cash and Max Aarons. I can't decide between the two. I want to go for Aarons because he was fairly decent with Norwich last season, but then again, Cash, he's one of those players at Forest that's just absolutely good. Personally, I don't like Forest, so I would absolutely love to piss Forest fans right off and steal one of their best players. But, I'd be happy with either Aarons or Cash, to be honest.
This one is easy for me. We are just fine at right back. We have Fredericks. Jonathan. We're perfect. No worries.
Fantastic. Oh, boy,
Yeah, for me,
oh boy.
Little bit of the same with you, Steve. I don't know. All I know is Wagué plays for Barcelona. I know he's 21 years old. I know he's highly rated, but he hasn't really played for them. So I don't have any idea how he will do. With Montiel, he'll be cheaper than Cash because he would only be 7.5 million, they're saying. The actual history of players who play for River Plate and then do good in the European leagues is actually pretty high. But I've never seen him play, so I can't confidently say, oh, yeah, he'd do a great job. Cash, apparently the last year and a half, he's done really good with Forest, transitioning from a right winger to a right back. He can defend pretty well, although he's got a lot of support from the midfielders around him. He can go forward well. But in the same vein that Fredericks was a very good right back in the championship, will Cash make that? Will he make that jump? We'll see.
No.
Yeah, Wally doesn't even like the idea of competition. I see. And then, actually, to be honest, I haven't seen much of Aaron's, so I can't judge him either.
Yeah. Well, we've had an hour of speculation, so I think it's time to knock it on the head. Thank you to everybody who's been in the chat this evening. And shooting me down in flames and bigging up Wally. So thank you for that.
No,
I have my Fredericks fan club.
Indeed.
I converted a few.
I think we need to get Frederick to send Wally a signed jersey or something.
I know.
That's a good shout.
We have to show him clips and stuff, and
I know. I've said that
he's showing him love. He deserves love back.
if they don't sell him, I'm definitely getting a jersey next with his name on it. If they don't get rid of him. So,
Okay,
Sullivan, you'll have one sale of one jersey if you hold on to.
Yeah, one run.
Fantastic. Right. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in, and thanks everybody in the chat. If you did like what you've seen tonight, hit the thumbs up button. It does do us good, so I'm told. And if you haven't subscribed yet, then please do so. It all helps. And don't forget, check out our website and our shops. We've got an American shop and an English shop to help out with posting and packaging costs. Thank you all for watching, guys. Thank you for coming to the show. Lee, hope I haven't wrecked it for you, and I hope you enjoy your holiday. I'll speak to you guys.
Yeah, thanks for staying up late, Steve.
Speak to you guys after we've ended. Come on, you Irons.
Yeah, Irons.